Being able to compare multiple areas for retail selection is one of the really important things for a commercial real estate professional specializing in retail to be able to do using as your business analyst. Now, we've done entire webinars on the topic of retail site selection, but I want to spend just a couple of moments talking about a couple of the things that you can do to compare multiple different sites. Here, I'm going to go into Business Analyst and I'm just going to type in the two potential addresses for locations for a retail business. So with the first one, I'm going to create a 5-minute drive time. Now again, we talk a lot about what the true appropriate market area is for an area, and it's really going to come down to your commercial real estate know-how and to determine what the appropriate market analysis area is for a given retail site. Here we have our 5-minute drive time, and now I'm going to go ahead and define another area for my drive time. And I'm going to create the analysis area the exact same way as a 5-minute drive time. So now you can see that we have these two unique 5-minute drive times. And now what we want to do is we actually want to compare them. So you can see that they're in the same area in the city of Dallas, but their 5-minute drive times actually do not overlap. So what we're going to do to get an idea of the difference between these two areas, we're going to go into reports, and we could look at these areas by things like population or household or income or housing. But in this case, I'm going to create a custom approach where I can go in and look at population as well as the annual growth rate. I can look at income. I can look at age. Average household size, total housing units, vacant housing units, number of people with a bachelor's degree, and I also want to get an idea of how many people fall into certain Tapestry segmentations. So top tier, professional pride, boom burbs, savvy suburbanites, exurbanites, and urban chic. So as you can see, I've chosen a number of different variables here that I believe are relevant in the retail site selection arena. And I'm going to go ahead and view the table so I can see those side by side. And you can see at first we have the variables in columns. In this case, I want to look at the variables in rows. So you see that I have these different analysis areas and I can look at them side by side. If I wanted to, I could export the data to Excel, or I could print it, or I could just look at it in table form or in graphic form, depending on how I want to go about looking at this information. Now, another thing that we could do is if we wanted to, instead of running those comparison reports and looking at the variables side by side, we could get more of a spatial representation of what's going on by creating a smart map. In this case, let's say that I'm interested in looking at a couple of different variables, most notably median household income, and let's say that I'm also interested in the percentage of people with a bachelor's degree, and I also want to know a little bit about retail goods spending and annual budget expenditure spending. So as you can see, I have 4 different selected variables, and I'm going to go ahead and map those variables. At first, you're going to think that nothing's happened on the screen. All we have is a blue screen showing us where all of the census tracts are in this area. Well, the census tracts are the different geographies that are outlined here, but in this case, I'm more interested in zip codes. So I changed my geography, and from a retail site selection standpoint, let's just say that I was interested in locations where my median household income would be over $50,000. So you can see that most of my area here in my Sherry Lane location is still going to be completely contained and over 50,000. You can see that a large percentage of my area here east of White Rock Lake is not going to fall into that category. So we can begin to edit our ranges within our legend to help tell the story that we're trying to tell and help us be able to make better decisions in retail site selection. Let's say I'm also looking for 20% of my population to have a bachelor's degree. That doesn't change anything for either one of these areas. And I want the average or the indexed retail goods to be over 100, or the national average. Again, that doesn't change anything. And I could also say I want my indexed annual budget expenditures also to be over the national average. And you see that that doesn't change. So I'm still trying to make a decision between these two different sites. What if I continued to edit my ranges until I felt like I was able to make a really good decision based on these criteria? I could change my median household income to $60,000 and the bachelor's degree percentage to 25 or even 30. And as you can see, once I go to 30, the area here in East Dallas is no longer going to be relevant based on the criteria that I've placed in. So obviously lots of different things that we can do here. We could even clear this entirely. And we could also look at it using what my belief is one of the most valuable retail site selection tools, and that's Tapestry Segmentation. What if I just wanted to take Tapestry Segmentation and I wanted to map all of this area by tapestry data, so by dominant tapestry segment? It'll take it just a moment, but now you can see all of the different represented tapestry segments by life mode. And so if I said I'm only interested in people that fall into the affluent estates category or the upscale avenues, you could see where those people live around the area. And then if I decided, well, what I need to do now is reactivate those analysis areas that I had created earlier, I can just go into my content and activate those with the click of a button. So I can find here, with just a couple clicks of a button, that most of the area here to the west is going to be contained with upscale avenues as well as enterprising professionals, where just a little bit of it is going to be contained in the enterprising professionals on the east location.